Hello everybody, Walter here. Welcome to episode 8 of my Let's Play series for Satisfactory 1.0. In the last episode we started producing some of the tier 5 and 6 items and then also added some dimensional depots to our storage system. Now for today I had originally planned to go into oil processing, but given the fact that this is going to be released on December 24th and I should be able to unlock the entire FICSMAS research tree, I think I'm going to turn this into a FICSMAS special instead. So with that in mind, let's very quickly jump back into the game and have a very quick look at where we left off last time. And here we are, right in front of the temporary storage for our current available FICSMAS items, right next to our normal and primary storage with the now added dimensional depots. Now, first things first, let's actually check out what we need for the next unlock for FICSMAS. So let's check. We need the hard drive, which we can get from the calendar, and then 2, 2, and 100. So let's just very quickly check. Okay, we have the 100 there, and we have the 200 there, and we have very little of these, which isn't much of a surprise, since the blue ones are produced is twice. Oh, it's actually the same as the one for the red ones. It just needs twice the amounts of materials. But nevertheless, let's boost this a little bit, because I'm going to need a decent amount of these here pretty soon. So I'm going to boost this one here, and I might as well also boost this one here. Yeah, that makes sense. So, then, next up, let's quickly go to the calendar and grab the new items. So I got to the 7 last time. Today I should be able to get to 14. And this is already the 8 down there.
This data cartridge enables the third pair of FICSMAS map tree branches to be unlocked. There is a chance you are doing this because you enjoy the seasonal event for some reason. There is also a chance you are simply doing this to annoy me. I wish for you to know that, in either case, you have disappointed me.
Oh, Ada, it's obviously both. Then we have the 10. Okay, we have the hat. Nice.
By equipping this new hat at the lockers in the hub, you can finally turn your mental state into a fashion statement.
Not sure how to take that. Let's see. This is the 13. That's a lot of these. And up there we have the 14. So that's all of
this
the drives.
This data cartridge enables the last branches of the FICSMAS map tree to be unlocked, which means we will both be celebrating the end of this event soon.
And can't find the 11 or the 12. There's an 11. Okay, that's hidden very well actually. And the 12? There's a 12 in there? Can't see it actually.
A reminder that human creativity does have its limits, considering their obsessive insistence on continuing to make slightly different versions of every FICSMAS song ever imagined.
She's not wrong with that. Anyway, let's make use of that. So we have the hat, and then let's put in the bubble, and the rest can remain as is for now. Okay, so that is that. Now while I'm here, might as well have a quick look at my little friends over here. So that is nice, I guess. I can't. And then the last one. Okay, that is at least somewhat useful. The rest, well, wasn't overly useful actually. Now, don't need those, so let's turn them into coupons instead. Then we have some more of these, and what's that? Spitter protein. So, okay, then, oh wait, we have also some stuff I will not need, which is this one here, and also this one there. Okay, so the rest will have to remain until I have enough materials, and now I think it's time to start planning out a few things. So what am I going to need? Let's quickly talk about my plans. So basically, over here I have copper and iron nodes, which I am going to need for some of the yet to unlock FICSMAS items. And in this area here, there are absolutely no nodes, and it's a decently sized and somewhat flat area, so I'm going to build my FICSMAS build over here. So what am I going to do is build a little bridge going over this chasm here. And I haven't really prepared a bridge blueprint, so I think I'm going to start with planning those out, which is going to take a little while, so let me come back to you once I have that figured out. And here we go. So for this I decided to go with a variation of my walkways, which you haven't seen yet, but the structure is pretty simple. Basically I have at the bottom a 5-meter high area where I can add conveyor belts and pipes, and then above that I have a glass roof I can walk on top of, with some railing to the sides. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And for the design over here I decided to just add another 4 meters below for some additional support structures, so it looks like a proper, well, bridge, or at least somewhat close. Now with that in mind, we are done here, so I can clear that area out, and then I can grab all of that. And, oh, it's getting dark, okay. Let's have a look. I should have given it enough time. Okay, we now have all of the materials we are going to need over here for the next unlock, so let's work on that. So that's
Oh,
the ornaments.
joy. The tree is fancier now. Well done. Unfortunately, you are only halfway there. More appropriate ornaments made with iron and copper can now be created in the foundry. When I say more appropriate, I am referring to the usage of factory materials as a subtle reminder of your purpose on this planet and the fate of all of humanity resting on your shoulders, of course.
Again, no pressure there, huh? Anyway, we are now going to need to produce these iron and copper ornaments. So for that we are subsequently also going to need some more copper and iron. And the resource nodes over here are more or less tapped out. Nevertheless, I have a few more I can very quickly tap into over in this area there. Roughly over here. There's a copper node over there, and there are also more iron nodes over here. So I'm thinking of just very quickly expanding this production line down here for the new items, and also expanding the storage system a little bit. And a bit later everything is now in place. So over here we have the sushi belt line that is coming from over there and transporting a mix of copper and iron ore. That is then turned into the corresponding metal ingots inside of 4 of these 8 smelters, like for example here. The other smelters take the gifts from those gift trees here and turn them into the red and the blue ornaments. And all of that is then turned into the copper and the iron ornaments. They then make their way through this line here all the way to the storage system. Additionally, I'm also moving the ornaments into this assembler here for the production of the bundles, which I'm just about to unlock, because I've already grabbed enough of those to unlock the next FICSMAS milestone. So let's unlock the FICSMAS lights and also, very important, the FICSMAS ornament bundles.
I am sure all the kittens and puppies and even human children would appreciate being able to see all these pretty lights. It is a shame they're all stuck on Earth, waiting for you to do your job so that they can have long and fulfilling lives.
Ada has still a rather one-track mind, I would say. Anyway, now that I'm producing those, I should also put them into storage. Fortunately, I have a spot reserved for them right here. And there we go. Now everything is being put into storage properly. Okay, now at this point I need to wait a bit until I have a bit more of this here produced. So I think it's a good point in time to start working on the stage for the proper FICSMAS event over there. The first thing I'm going to do is tap into 4 resource nodes in this area here. So down there we have 2 copper nodes. And up here we have 2 iron nodes. Which is absolutely perfect for what I need. And basically I'm going to tap into those. And then I'm going to build a bridge from roughly here all the way to over there. And yeah, that should work out quite nicely. For that, I am already going to use a couple blueprints I prepared. So for one, I have a miner foundation that looks pretty decent in my opinion. So that is one part. And for the other, as I said, I'm going to use my prepared walkways and also the bridge to make my way all the way to over there. And a good while later, we have now the bridge in place, which looks pretty good if you ask me. I also already put in the miners, so let me just get up there. Now, as I said, this is essentially just one blueprint with the miner set in the middle and then just hooked up to power and the conveyor. And I think it looks pretty good, especially since if you look down there, you can even see where it's actually doing all of the mining. And you can also very quickly get up here and then get back into the entire system here. Now, down there I have also the 2 copper miners and the power wire, which is actually powering all of this here. I may have to change that though, since at some point I'm going to rework all of that. Nevertheless, I now have 180 copper ore plus 270 iron ore going to, for the moment, just the end of the bridge. But before I continue over there, I think it's time to get back to the base, because as I said, it's been a decent amount of time. And we should have enough materials now for the next few unlocks. So that is what I'm going to work on next. So let's just quickly get over here. And what am I going to need? I am going to need, I think it's 200 of these and 200 of these. Then as many bundles as I can grab. I'm going to need a couple of these, I think. A couple of these. And I'm going to need some snow, I think. Yeah, that looks good. Now, I should have everything I need. So let's quickly check. Okay, everything I need for the snow. And then for this upgrade here.
I do not understand the fascination humans have with solid dihydrogen monoxide to the extent they felt the need for a FICSMAS snow cannon and dispenser. It is simply a state of matter. Real beauty lies in efficiency and the synergetic processes and interplay of artificial and spontaneous consciousness, general sentience, and non-sentient matter, creating a new version of reality in every observable moment in the subjective progression of events.
Okay, now she's getting really philosophical.
The tree is prettier now, you have more parts to progress the FICSMAS event, and there are 2 new unlocks available. Now for the actually important news, Pioneer 83CKY has disabled the FICSMAS event because, quote, it's totally non-inclusive and immoral, actually. I mean, like, there's so many people, like, not having fun right now, and I feel like so bad for them, you know? Why should I have fun when other people are like counting on me to meet these super important deadlines? It's just not right, unquote. Totally agree. Now, back to work.
So let's see, that's the reef. And then there we have the star. Oops, star. Okay, later on. So just expanded this a little bit in advance, and yeah, I think let me get up there. The next step is actually expanding this to produce some of those reefs for the next few unlocks. And here we go. I now have this assembler here producing the Wreaths at 50% underclocking. But as you can see, I have actually moved the Somas loops from the smelters over to the assembler. So it's actually producing, well, at effectively 100%. The bundles that are required I am taking from the output over there, which was just minutely changed. And over here I had to add one more constructor producing the tree branches. I didn't need any more of those gift trees though, since those three over here had produced more than I needed for the ornaments, so I used that instead. Now, with all of that running, it's time to make our way back over to the bridge, because we're not done over there, obviously. So, what is next on the agenda? Well, at the end of the bridge, it at the moment only stops, which is obviously not what we are looking for. Instead, what I'm actually aiming for is, let me just quickly get to the top here. And you can see this is such a beautiful vista over here. But as I was about to say, up there is a little bit of a plateau. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to work my way from down there up this slope and onto this plateau at the top there. And there we go. The path is now in place. And this actually is the first time I included curves, especially inside of those slopes here. That was a bit tricky to get right. But while I was working on that, I had a little trip back to the main base and noticed that I have now enough material to unlock the FICSMAS decoration and the FICSMAS Wonder Star. So let's quickly do that.
The best idea FICSIT could come up with to appreciate and reward pioneers for their hard work is a gold star. How creative, but don't worry, I understand the merits of actually meaningful appreciation. When you save the day, you will understand.
Is this a red flag? Not sure. Anyway, here you can see the harder curves. Took a little bit of creativity to make look good, but it worked out in the end. Nevertheless, next up is for one expanding this floor I already started on. And for the other, I will also want to build a storage system inside of a fireplace, which I have already prepared for via those blueprints here for the brick wall and the brick floor. I also have the wooden floor as a blueprint, so everything should be pretty fast to build, and that looks pretty ugly. So let me very quickly rectify that little situation here. Here, by the way, you can see where the ores are coming in. And then over here. And it appears I forgot to include this high barrier here for some reason. Not sure why. But anyway, as I said, next up is building the storage system over here. And I have to say, this is starting to look better than I imagined, and those bricks here look very authentic actually. Anyway, for now I'm just going to make use of these 12 storage containers of the 16 in total, since, well, I don't have the snowballs or the rockets yet. The storage system itself is also pretty simple. I have a sushi belt at the back. Let me just get up here so it's a bit better. So the items come in through this lift here, get then sorted if applicable, and everything that can be sorted out makes its way back in this line here. And then over here inside of this log storage, I have my awesome sink, which is then going to turn the overflow into coupons. Now, next up, let's actually start with the MAM. Since building all of this here took a decent amount of time, I now have the materials for the next unlock, which is Snow Fight with the snowball.
These snowballs are made from actual snow, combined with a mystery ingredient that is guaranteed to make snowballs very throwable, and your snowball fights extremely immersive and realistic. There are no low stakes with FICSIT.
Let me guess, this mysterious ingredient are explosives, since this is ammunition for the Nobelisk. So, that is the sorting already done. Now I just need to set the sign. And now I have 13 of the 16 in use. Well, at least in theory. Obviously there is nothing coming in yet, since it's being produced. Or not produced yet. Now, next up on the agenda is getting some of the materials I'm going to need into maybe a storage setup over here, since I don't want to have to run back and forth as much as I had until this point. Fortunately enough, due to the fact that I have my blueprints here, I can very quickly figure out how many materials I'm actually going to need. So, I completely underestimated how much this is going to take, even with all of these here filled up with normal items, and all of the FICSMAS items moved over here from the main base. It's by far not enough. Fortunately enough, all of this here is going to take a while, so that situation might rectify itself in time, except I'm very low on the bundles and I'm going to need a lot of those. Fortunately enough, I also have a surplus actually of the iron and the copper ornaments, so I set up a little bundle factory over here. This is completely temporary and will be removed pretty soon, I suspect. Anyway, let's get started with the actual factories, and for that I'm going to begin with the iron and the copper ornaments. Both use basically the same blueprint. So let me just put down one for the iron, so you can get an idea what this is about. Now my inspiration for this build are those super cheap mass-produced gifts that may look impressive, well, until you get in within 10 meters of them, and then you see that the ribbons are printed on, and it's cheap plastic and 90% air and disappointment. But anyway, this is my setup. Now, for the moment I have the input and the output here on the side, but I'll likely go through the floor actually, and hide those away in that way. Which is also the reason why this floor here is actually one with a logistics floor below. Anyway, how does this work? Well, the iron or the copper ore comes in, or goes in, and then comes out the iron and the copper ornaments. The required FICSMAS gifts are produced over here, inside of the build, and then if I can get in here, you can see the setup. So I have two main floors, each has a logistics floor below, and they look pretty nice and clean that way. So let me start at the top here. So this is where the FICSMAS gifts from the included trees are turned into the blue or the red FICSMAS ornaments. And then down here I'm turning the ore into the corresponding metal ingot. And then both are put into the foundries and turned into the ornaments. And as I said, all of this here is connected via the logistics floors, which are connected at the back there and over there. And you can see already the gifts being moved up. But since this is not being powered, nothing else is going to happen here. And yeah, that is the general layout. Now I'm going to need 3 of those for iron and 3 of those for copper. And I think I'm just going to put them over in this corner here a bit haphazardly, like you would do with this type of gift. And with that, the iron and the copper are handled, although it took a little bit longer than I would have preferred, especially since I don't have a jetpack or a hoverpack and have to do all of this here per foot and ladder, which is really painful, let me tell you. But anyway, this is now running, as you can see if we go over here and have a look at the flowing iron and copper ore. Now for now, the copper and the iron ornaments don't really go anywhere, which is where the next build comes into play. Now this was inspired by a gift I got a while ago that, well, contained some clothes and was wrapped up with a belt, since someone thought it was funny. Anyway, what is this about? We have 2 inputs, one for the copper and one for the iron ornaments. And on the other side then we have the output for the bundle and whatever ornaments are not being used. So from this point on we have a sushi belt. Now let me just get in there. And once more I have a logistics floor below. And the top floor is just those 8 assemblers for the ornament bundles. In total, I'm going to need 2 of those factories here to produce all of the bundles I have planned. And that's a wrap. Next up, we have the Wreaths, which I'm producing again in 3 separate factories. In this case, my inspiration for that build was... let me get this in place. As I was saying, the inspiration for this build here were those FICSMAS gifts that either somewhat literally fell off a truck, or someone just thought they made for a good chair, and well, they didn't. Again, input and output, which I will once more reroute through the floor. And then, if I can make my way in there, let's have a quick look how this looks like. So on this side here, I have 2 more or less identical floors with a minor logistic floor below. These here produce the tree branches. The required gifts are being produced over here and down there. And then the produced branches make their way down here into this bigger logistic floor, where they are then, together with the sorted out bundles from the sushi line, are turned into the Wreaths. And all of that is then merged together into the output, which I'm also going to run through the floor. And with those 3 now in place, it's time for the last production step, which are the FICSMAS stars. And for that I have this little thing here prepared, which, as you might have already noticed, is inspired by a gingerbread house. Again, I have the gift trees on the outside. Each of those is actually feeding into... Let me just get to the inside. Feeding into one of those constructors here, which produce the candy canes. Then at the layer above, I have my 2 assemblers for the stars, one on each side. They are fed from the back. For one, this here is the input line, the sushi belt, which then splits the Wreaths as far as they are required into the left and the right lane. Everything else and the overflow makes its way along this line here, where it gets merged together with the output of the star factory, finds its way down here, goes below the floor. We will come to that in a moment again. This here is the splitter that splits off the candy canes from the floor below. Now the complete output makes its way down here, then along the middle line, and then comes out at the front there. And the input is at the very back. Now I'm going to need 2 of these here, and once those are in place, I can finally start working on actually producing those stars which are required for the final update or upgrade in the FICSMAS research tree. And a bit later, everything is now up and running and already connected to the storage system, so those containers should start to fill up. I will also have to have a look at the whole thing a bit later, because the iron ore seems to not flow continuously, and that is what I would actually expect with the layout I had set up here. So I will have to check that later. But for now, let's finish with the last 2 builds. The first one is for the red and the blue ornaments, which I'm going to place somewhere in this corner here. For now, let's just put it in the middle there. And the second gift that's missing will have to be placed somewhere over there, since at the moment it looks a bit strange with this one here towering above the player, this one here, but nothing over there. So I'm going to place a slightly higher gift in this corner there. But let's have a look at those 2. This one here was inspired by those artsy gifts, by the artsy guys, that just have to be different and not conform to the norms. Yeah. And this here is just a normal computer case with the ribbon around it, and nothing really special. So let's have a quick look how this works from the inside. So basically I have a logistics floor below, and on the side here I have the gift trees, which are required for the blue and the red ornaments, and everything is collected in the logistics floor and output on the other side. This one here, on the other hand, doesn't actually have a logistics floor, so deviates a bit from the other builds, since I didn't really have the space. So I have 2 layers for the production of the gift trees, or the production of the FICSMAS gifts. Those are collected at the bottom, and then they snake their way up into those 6 constructors here. Or actually, only 5, because one is producing the snowballs out of the produced snow. And the products make their way through in the sushi line, also snaking down in this case, and then to the output. And here I'm just redirecting some of the snow into the well, snowball production. And yeah, that's already the entire build in a nutshell. So let's put those 2 here into the correct spots. And just as I was about to connect the last FICSMAS gift, I ran out of power, which is the reason I'm back at my home base, because I still have the factory over here, which is no longer needed with my FICSMAS stage at the back there. But before I get rid of all of that, let me just very quickly grab a couple coupons and then unlock what I'm still missing in here. So let's see, this is these 2.
As FICSIT amply demonstrates, you can never have too much management.
I heard others. I don't think so. Then we have light. These I already grabbed during an earlier cut. Then we have those patterns here. Okay, got all of the rest there. Then we have the quarter pipe. And then I'm still missing this one here. And I think that's it actually. Yep, that looks good. I could grab a bit more of that stuff, but I don't really need it. So I'm just going to put these here in storage. And now I can get rid of the FICSMAS factory over here and also the storage system here. Well, the factory is gone now, but I'm still out of power, as you can hear, or well, can't hear. Yeah, I definitely have to expand my coal power generator setup a bit before I continue working on my FICSMAS setup. So I'm quickly going to grab the required resources and then make my way over to the coal generators. And here we are. Now in the near future I'm going to need a lot of additional power for oil processing. So I think I'm going to straight up double the number of generators with another 32. Which, looking at it, won't really fit over there. So I am going to put them on a raised platform over in this corner there. And just like that we have a total of 4.8 gigawatts to work with. The generators are on a raised platform, the water comes from over there. And somewhere over there I have a couple pumps since the water wouldn't actually reach the platform. Now with that out of the way, we should be safe until I get fuel power. And that means I can make my way back to the base and... oh, what's that? Oh, that was close. So let's deal with that one, and there is another one over there. Let's see if I can get this in melee. Just need to be clever about it. Is that reverse? Okay. Good, that's that one dealt with, so let's grab all I can over here. Oh, the message. Nice.
You no longer perform in your Maker Temple?
Helping meant leaving it.
Our blood will eat, build, teach.
I have no use for blood.
You do, consume.
Interesting.
Yes, very interesting. The plot thickens. But anyway, let's get over to our FICSMAS setup and continue over there. Okay, I think it's now finally time to actually place down the giant FICSMAS tree. So let's put it down maybe in the middle of this area here. Yep, that looks good. And since we have already advanced quite far in the research tree, it also looks already pretty amazing, although it's still missing the star. So let's check, since the factories have been running for a decent amount of time. Yep, that looks very good. So we need 500. And that's 500. Very nice. Now I just need to grab a MAM. And do the last research industry here. And there we go. We now have a star.
Fantastic. Wonderful. Oh look, it's so shiny. You are such a wonderful person. I am sure every other human would agree. Let's call them right now. Oh no, they're not picking up. I am sure it's nothing, except... Oh, look. Earth is gone. Everyone's gone. Does that make you feel good? Fortunately for you, this was only a simulation of the possible consequences of neglecting your duties. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you, Ada, too. Anyway, yeah, we're basically done now here. All of the factories are built, and the tree is in place. The only thing left is a little bit of decoration, and once that is done, a final tour of this little place here. And voila, after many hours of work, this build is now finally finished, and I have to say, I really like the way it turned out. It even has a little FICSMAS star right at the top there, currently giving it a little bit of additional lighting, and I really like this view here. I might actually use this as the thumbnail of this video. But what did I do during the last few hour or two? Well, for one, I finished the outsides of the builds with some borders, but for the most part I tried a few things concerning the lighting, and well, it only really worked out for the centerpiece here. Everything else looked a bit strange, except I also gave the fireplace a bit of love. For one, obviously some lighting, but also an opening at the top there for the chimney, and some additional logs to make it look a bit more used. And yeah, with that, we have basically reached the end of this episode, and in the next episode, since that will be released on the 31st of December, we're likely going to add a rocket factory to this build here, and then go into oil processing. And with that, we've reached the end of this special episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share, and comment if you did so. It really is with the algorithm. Independent of that, I wish you a nice day and also happy holidays. And well, see ya!